the equipment. There you go. I'm looking around, looking at this, looking at that. My microphone's on. We should be good to go now, and that's fantastic on a Manic Monday. And yeah, look at this nice October day. Yeah, it's a beautiful October day today, even though we're in August. It's a beautiful October day, and yeah, this weather's pretty wacky. Let's get into it. But first, I have to talk about my sponsors, Hamilton Glowstone Lighting and Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. I think I forgot. No, I'm just doing a Joe Biden here. Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. We'll give them a shot first time this time on the show. Usually we don't. Look at, I'm dressed in a jacket and jeans. I can't believe it. It's hot out. But you know what? That doesn't mean your house can't look nice. And you will have the nicest house on the street when you have Hamilton Glowstone Lighting come in and put up some nice track lighting. They're the leaders in permanent outdoor lighting. Your house is going to look fantastic. Believe me. And, you know, they're so confident of their work, they give you a lifetime warranty on it. Now, they set up your lights in zones. So it's all track lighting, all LED track lighting, really, really cheap on the power bill. They put them up in zones. So, you know, Canada Day, you want red and white, you got it. Christmas, red and green, you got it. There's a million different colors. You control it all from your phone. Modern technology at work. Every joint and every light is sealed against moisture and dust, so you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, pours, rain, don't matter. No, this is going to hurt them. And you add value to your house. You light up those pathways and walkways to make it safer. They're awesome for backyards, entertaining the backyards. You have some nice lighting in there. Yeah. And that's what Hamilton Glowstone Lighting is all about. Where do you get these beautiful lights that add value to your home? Well, you call in Buckborough at 289-969-1797. That's right. Call in Buckborough, 289-969-1797. And if I'm waving because there's people out there going by. They look in every day and see me here. They probably think I live here. I don't know. But you got to call Colin Buckborough up. He's going to come down and give you a free estimate. If you want to see some of their beautiful work, you just go to glowstonelighting.com on the internet. That's just like it sounds. glowstonelighting.com. And away you go. You're good to go. And what you're going to do is have Colin come over, give you a free estimate, and then you're going to tell him to go to town. And if you really want to Griswold your house, don't worry about it. You don't have to plop down the cash on the table right away. You can finance it. They have financing. So you can ask about that. Either way, Hamilton Glowstone Lighting, make your house look fantastic at night and add value to your house. Okay, let's move on. We'll talk about Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop later on, halfway through the show. And so this beautiful October day today, but it was a wacky weekend for weather. I mean, we didn't get it too bad in the Niagara area, but in Toronto, they really got hammered. They totally got hammered. I saw a picture of a place called Queen Frederick Boulevard, I think, and water was running at around 3 to 4 feet. I mean, it was flooded. The guy was going by in a big Ram pickup, and it was right up to his wheel wells. And I'm going to tell you, it was running so fast that if you got caught up in this, like somehow you fell in, that it would sweep you right into the lake. It all runs to Lake Ontario. And I'm telling you, it was running fast, and it would have swept you right into the lake if you got caught up in it. I was worried about this pickup truck. I mean, if it got up too high, he would have started floating, and he would have been down in Lake Ontario. He got a free ride down there. Come on and take a free ride. The King's Plate, supposed to be run last Saturday. The weather was so bad, lightning, thunder, and so much rain, they had to cancel it. It's going to be run this Friday. And if you don't know what the King's Plate is, it was called the Queen's Plate while the Queen was still alive. And then they changed the name to the King's Plate. But it's a horse race in Toronto. It's a biggie. The biggie in Canada, part of a Triple Crown in Canada. They have the Queen's Plate. They have the Prince of Wales. That's usually at Fort Erie Racetrack. And I think the third one, and correct me if I'm wrong, horse lovers, I think the third one is the Rothmans up at Woodbine. And if I'm not right, I apologize. I think that's what it is. It used to be called that. It could have changed names now, but I think it was the Rothmans. That was the third big one, if I'm not mistaken. Like I say, if I am, sorry. I lose track of names when they start changing these things and they get different sponsors. There was also a tornado in Ayr, and if you don't know where Ayr is, it's about an hour west of Hamilton, and they got hit by a tornado. So I mean, the ones we got here was just rain going around the circle. It seemed to rain, then it gets sunny and it come back around to rain, and it gets sunny and it come back around rain, and it gets sunny and it was going, wow, what the hell's going on here? Hey, we're in that time of year. That's crazy, but it's better than snow. I know that. And this humidity and heat, that's what it gives you. It gives you all kinds of pop-up storms. You don't know when they're going to show up. You look on your weather charts, it's clear, and then all of a sudden there's a big red cloud over you. So really weird. I heard thunder rumbling at 5:30 this morning. Yeah, so I mean it's crazy. I guess for all those that own Rolls Royces, hey, you get an umbrella with the car, you're all set. There's an umbrella right in every Rolls Royce. They're right in the door. So let's see. Reading, just looking at some of the stories here. There's all kinds of stories. Oh yeah. By the way, about the weather, if you don't like it, just give the government more money for a carbon tax. Right. That's all you got to do. Give the money more money. Give the government more money for a carbon tax, and the more money they get from taxpayers, us suckers, the more they can blow. And then the weather stays the same. But they tell you that they're going to fix it. Oh yeah, wink, wink, nod. No, yeah, sure. How stupid are we to keep giving them this money? Have our prices escalating like crazy on gas and stuff? How stupid do they think we are? I guess they think we're pretty stupid because they keep doing it and nobody says anything. Okay, now the other thing I wanted to talk about, I was reading about our favorite tree. I don't know about what your favorite tree is, but it appears the government's favorite tree is the speed cameras, especially the regional government. Oh, they love these trees. They plant them everywhere. These speed cameras are here to stay. The region is ordering more to expand the program, but several regional councilors are not so happy about hearing this. They're not too happy about this, saying they don't favor spending $2 million over the next 2 years to expand the program, which, yeah, I don't blame them. They got to pay taxes like everybody else. And they don't think it's warranted. And there's other ways to slow traffic down without having speed cameras. Okay, I agree. They don't really want big brother in their face everywhere, right? But they're big money generators. That's why they have them. But really, when it's all said and done, we do have laws about speeding and that. Unfortunately, people don't obey them. And when people don't obey them, especially around schools where there's kids running around, then they make these laws and they crush us with them. Now, they were saying speed humps could do the job and other measures, but speed bumps, the plows go over them, they ruin them, and they're a big hassle. To me, everybody should just put a cop there. We should just have a cop there and everybody's going to pay attention. You got a cruiser on the side of the road doing radar, pulling people over, giving them tickets. I mean, because is there anything more embarrassing than being pulled over in front of a school and getting a ticket? That you were a dunderhead speeding through a, speeding through a school zone? That's pretty embarrassing that you're that ignorant. But you know what? It happens every day. And that's why they have these speed cameras. I mean, most of the people nowadays are distracted drivers. They just don't pay attention. Let's face it, they're on their phones, right? They're not paying attention to their speed or anything. They're looking and seeing what Sally has to say about Bonnie's new facelift or whatever, and that's why they're having these kind of issues around schools. That you got to pay attention, slow down, take your time. I mean, seriously, if you hit a kid and injure them badly or kill them, you have to live with that for the rest of your life. So slow down. That's all. And then they wouldn't need these things. But yeah, There's more and more coming, and there's going to be more and more tickets. And they say, well, it's not taxpayers' money. We'll buy them with the revenue from the thing, because they do make lots of money. So they're right about that. The taxpayers aren't paying for it, but at the end of the day, we are, because you know what? You speed, you get that ticket, you got to pay. That's out of your pocket. Yeah, that's out of your pocket. So for those who want to speed, you pay the tax. For those who want to drink, you pay the tax on booze. For those who want to smoke, you pay the tax on cigarettes. For those who want to speed, you pay the tax on speeding. I guess that's the way it works in life, right? Now, imagine this. A person from a third world country is welcome to Canada to work, given a place to stay, and paid a good wage to work compared to where they came from. Probably about 20 times what they made there. And some egghead from Toronto characterizes the temporary foreign workers program as a breeding ground for contemporary forms of slavery. I mean, these woke people have to go. The people are coming here of their own volition. Nobody's going down there, grabbing them, putting them on boats and shipping them here. They're coming here because they can make some money to have a better life back home after the season ends. What's the matter with that? And they get paid good. They get put up in places to live. They come here, they work, and they're hard workers. They do their job, they get paid, and they have a better life when they get back home. Federal government spends tens of millions of dollars to ensure these accusations that were their modern forms of slavery don't happen. Tens of millions we spend on that. And that's your tax dollars, of course, right? They have 24-hour hotlines to report abuses. 2,122 inspections of businesses last year. They got a whole crew that are going out and watching this across Canada. And they also they hire the temporary foreign workers, and they issued last year $2.1 million in fines on businesses that do not adhere to the rules and regulations. So they're out there. They're out there. Any abusers are listed on a public website. You go in there, you can see any company that has abused these temporary foreign workers, and 3 Niagara companies are on that list. Italia Pizzeria in St. Catharines fined $30,000 for not providing documents during the inspections. Swisha Gardens in Niagara Falls, $12,000 in 2021. The specifics of the job did not match the offer of employment. So they were making these people do other things than they were hired for. And Juris Brothers Farms, $1,000 for not providing documents when requested. So they're out there, they're finding companies, they're getting companies and finding them. And I'm going to open this door. It's getting a bit warm in here. They're finding companies and they're taking them to task if they don't treat people right. And that's what they're there for, the government, to make sure it all works. The feds also launched a migrant worker support program in 2022 with $50 million, and an additional $40 million was added in 2024. So they're supporting these people with the 24-hour hotline, and any complaints they have. A survey by the feds indicated that 76% of the temporary foreign workers understood their rights and responsibilities regarding their job and coming to Canada, and 94% of employers work in good faith to adhere to the rules of the program and while employing these temporary foreign workers. So the worker program employs 66,000 across Canada, 20,000 in Ontario. And our tender fruit industry definitely needs them. I mean, because Canadians don't want to do this kind of work, picking fruit and that kind of thing. So it's very important that we have these hardworking people, and they're making their life better here, helping Canada have enough workers for the farming industry and other industries that apparently Canadians don't want to do. I mean, what's the downside of this? And they have programs to make sure they're not abused. We welcome these workers. We got to have them. We have to welcome them. And I'm glad to see there's protections in place for these people, so they just don't come here and get treated like slaves, like this woke guy says. Bill George, labor section chair for the Ontario Fruit and Vegetable Growers Association, says this whole thing by this woke guy, this bean counter, is offensive. It's offensive to the industry, offensive to the workers, and offensive to anybody that employs the workers. So, you know what? Good for the government. Good for these workers for coming and doing jobs we don't want to do. Good that they can have a little bit better of a life by coming here and working for the summer. It's a good thing all the way around. So forget about these woke guys. Let's just run this program and take care of it. We need them. We need them. It's sad to hear that there's people that are so woke. They're just yelling about this and about rights and everything. And yeah, it's getting hot in here, to be honest with you. I thought I was, I could have worn my shorts and a shirt, I guess. Okay. My favorite subject here, over to City Council. And I'm just wondering, I haven't heard anything about this. And that's weird. That's really weird. But on August 14th, Councillor Patel had a 2-hour meet and greet at the Coronation Room at the McBain Center. Did anyone go? Anybody out there go? Please send me a message or something letting me know how it was. I didn't go. I have no interest in going to that. But I did go to Lori Lococo's, and it was very interesting. A lot of people speaking. There's 50 people there, and everybody got up and had their say. And I was just amazed that people would get up and say what they thought. It was a real productive couple-hour meet and greet. So, yeah. But this one I haven't heard a peep of, and it was in the paper, I think, too. But this one I never heard a peep out of. I mean, I imagine people went. Not one person that I know has said a word about it to me, and I was just sitting there over the weekend thinking, I wonder how that meet and greet went. I never heard anything about it, and I thought about it today. I remember her first one was canceled, and that was 2 years ago. And I haven't heard anything about anything, even this follow-up on August 14th at the Gale Center in the Coronation Room. And it was 6 to 8, a 2-hour meeting. Now, it was supposed to be about the mayor's budget, right? And the mayor is supposed to prepare the budget. That's right. It's the mayor's budget. Don't forget that. This is the mayor's budget. He prepares it and presents it to council. Now, that's in November. Of course, we have November 26th, I believe, is the budget meeting. But we had a preliminary budget meeting, last council meeting, talking about it, looking at a 4 to 6% increase. That's what he was looking at, and City Council didn't like it too much. So but they're going to be between 4 and 6%, and they say it's the inflation, 3.9% inflation. We got to have 4%, 4 to 6%, just to keep up, which is baloney, but that's all right. Now, first of all, we have the capital budget on November 26th. Then in December, I think the first week in December, second week in December, we have the water and wastewater budget they're going to be discussing. And that's on top of any raises you get from the city in your property taxes. This is just another tax. But they separated it out to think it's not part of your property tax. It really is. I mean, they could have it all in one if they wanted, but then you would see a dramatic increase and everybody would be freaking out. So they separated. They kind of play the old shell game, right? Yeah, this pocket, that pocket. Yeah, doesn't matter. You take it out of both pockets at the same time. It's the same amount. But yeah, so we're going to see that, and it's also subject to council amendments, of course. Veto power for the mayor if council does not approve it. He can veto them not approving it, whatever they want. If they say we want 2%, he can veto that and say no, it's going to be 4 to 6. And then council can override that process if the mayor does veto it. And I wonder if Council NP talked about that. I don't know. At this meet and greet, I'm not sure. Remember, we are looking at a minimum of an inflationary budget on the table, which means an increase of at least 4%. That's what he said. He's looking for 4%. I got an itchy nose. Does that mean something? Maybe it means I'm going to get some money or something. And it could be 6%. So sew up your pockets. Council will definitely be trying to reach in and grab in more of your hard-earned money for 2025. That's a guarantee. It's already been said, and yeah, we're gonna get it. But I wonder what the conversation was like, because that's what she was doing, talking about the budget and what we want to see and what we want to see done and in the city and that. But I never heard nothing about it. There's nothing in the paper. Nobody ever mentioned it again. Nobody said anything. She never presented anything at city council. I'm talking about her meeting under new business and what people were saying. You think she would give you a little bit about that, right? I would say so. I mean, why not? Nothing. Crickets. So I don't know if anybody out there knows anything, has any inside scoop on it or when, and can let me know. I'll talk about it on air, but I have not heard a peep from anybody, to be honest with you. Okay, does anybody let's see. Yeah, I want to know. Here's what I want to know. Another thing I want to know a lot. A lot of questions, not a lot of answers. I never get a lot of answers, but I get a lot of questions. I do have a lot of questions. So I want to know if anybody has a first or second quarter report of the revenue generated by the Ghetto Dome. I want to know what they're doing over there. John Ringo B, maybe you're the guy to figure that one out. I'd love to see a report of revenue generated over the first 6 months of operation. I want to see what they brought in the first 6 months of the operation, especially since council changed the deal and allowed the dome to stay up year-round when it was supposed to be up for 6 months, then be taken down in the winter. Just they're taken down in the summer months, left up for the winter, right? Put up again in the winter. Now, we know the dome's schedule for St. Catharines was canceled. Tennis Clubs of Canada decided it wasn't fiscally sound to proceed with that development, which to me just says, hey, we can't make any money on this, so we're just not going to do it. Oh yeah, Niagara Falls got us. Well, I don't know if we got them or they got us, but somebody got. And they couldn't make any money, so it was too late to get out of their deal at St. Catharines or Niagara Falls, so they're hooked up with the Ghetto Dome, and it rises up like the Hindenburg on Keeler Road. It's not a really good-looking piece of real estate with that on it. I mean, you had John Island Park, all clear, beautiful tennis courts, really nice park. And all of a sudden, you got this Ghetto Dome with air conditioning units running, a generator running, or whatever the hell they need there. It's not a really awesome situation. But I'd like to see the numbers so we can predict when it will finally come down for good. And the city gets back control of the tennis courts that taxpayers paid for, and now we have limited access to unless you pay for it. Oh, the humanity. And it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that. Be very interesting. I'd like to see the numbers just for my own curiosity. It doesn't mean good or bad. It doesn't mean they're going anywhere, but it'd be interesting to see what the numbers are and that kind of thing. Anyway, that's that. We'll see what the Ghetto Dome says. Now, got to go to my second sponsor, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. And we see this kind of weather. It's chilly out there. Now you're using your air conditioning last week. Now you're using your heat. You throw the heat on in the car maybe today. It's pretty goofy out there. So you want to make sure your car's running right for the rest of the summer, because we're going to get nicer weather. This isn't going to last this crazy day. And you're going to want to make sure that your car's running right so you can take that final trip up north or down south or wherever you're going with the wife and kids before they go back to school in a few weeks. You don't want your car to break down. You want it to run right. You want your coolant system running right. You want your brakes working. You want your oil change. You want everything done right so you can have a trouble-free trip. What do? You go to Ken Hunter, see Ken at Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, and Ken will check over your car with his diagnostic equipment. He will let you know what's wrong with your car, and he will fix it if it needs fixing. Yeah, can't get better than that. He's going to make sure you're safe and sound, everything's running right. Doesn't matter if you need exhaust, brakes, tune-up, you name it, he does it. And he even has a body shop there. So if you get in a little fender bender or a major accident, get your car there. He'll have it repaired and new out the door in showroom condition before you know it. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop on Oakwood Drive, right next to the Kia dealership. Can't go wrong. Tell Ken Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. And he's going to be a happy camper, and I'm going to be happy that you support our sponsors. It's great that you support our sponsors. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for tuning into the show, as a matter of fact. So I got to ask, what's going on with our education system? We know it's wacky, but it's really getting wackier by the day. I'm seeing a story that parents are alarmed by early start times at some Niagara Falls high schools. Well, boo hoo hoo. Yeah, Niagara Falls high schools changed their start time in the day from 8:35 to 8:05. They turned them back earlier, so the poor little darlings got to get up a half an hour earlier. Whoop-de-doo. What's the difference? A half an hour. They should be up anyway. Kids also get out earlier, so there's more time to do their homework after school. Yeah, how about that? This puts some parents in a disaster mode. They're totally freaking out. One parent said her kids weren't getting enough sleep already, trying to get up and get to school by 8:35. Are you kidding me? What time do these kids go to bed? She claimed her daughter had 53 lates. 53, I got to read this again. 53 lates. Having to be there by 8:35. Are you kidding me? Tell her to get her lazy ass out of bed and get to school. What's wrong with these parents? 53 lates. You know what? I never had a late in my 5 years at high school. Not even one. I was there every day. I was supposed to be there on time. I never had a late stop sign. I never checked in late. I was there all the time. And I didn't have a car to drive to school. We had to walk a mile, at least a mile. And I know I'm getting into this. Oh, yeah, I walked 10 miles through the snow stuff. But I'm just saying, we got up, we got ready, we walked a mile and got to school on time for all our classes. I never had to get a late slip in my life. These kids can't get up and be there by 8:35? Are you kidding me? Oh, now looking at the school year from September to June, weekends and holidays and professional development days, PD days off, and everything else, 53 lates works out to like 1/3 of the school year. Late. I don't get it. How do the parents put up with this? They're blaming the time they have to start, and they think it's going to get worse because it's a half an hour earlier. Why aren't they blaming the kids? Why aren't they getting their kids up and getting them off to school? What the hell is going on? I don't get it, man. They blame the school system. Now, these kids are going to be in for a shock when they hit the real world, when they have to go to work, because you know what? Your job starts when it starts. If it starts at 7, you're there by 7. You can't say, I'm not getting enough sleep, and psychologists and doctors recommend we get more sleep. Oh, well, I can't start till 10 or 11. No. You start at 7. That's your job. Get your ass here, or you don't have a job anymore. That's the reality. That's real life right there. Now, these woke experts, these woke people are goofing up this whole society. They say the kids need a full 8 to 10 hours of sleep to perform at their best during the development growth period. I call BS. These kids have to go to bed earlier if they want to get more sleep. They can't stay up till midnight, 1 a.m, and then expect to have to get up at 6 to get ready and go to school. 5 hours sleep. No, they may need more sleep than that, but that doesn't mean you start school later in the morning to accommodate their goofy habits. And what are they doing? They're up on TikTok and bullshitting around. Oh, excuse my French. Around, right, all night, and then they and then they say they can't get enough sleep. Oh my God, this is crazy. This is crazy. It's baloney. It's baloney. And these experts are ruining these kids in with their baloney. Whatever happened to early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise? Whatever happened to that saying? I heard that a million times when I was a kid. Early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Well, it doesn't seem to work for these kids because they don't go to bed early. They don't get up early, and they're not very wise. Oh man, oh man. I'm up at 5 every morning. I don't have to get up. I can laze around like Tony Soprano till noon and then go to the strip club and hang out. But no, I'm up at 5 every morning and write the show here, get everything ready for this, then get in here, and I start by noon. I don't look for a later start time because I can't wake up by noon. Yeah, this is ridiculous. Go to bed, get up at 6, get ready for 8 a.m., start. No whining and crying about being tired. Boy, these kids are in line for a reality check real soon. And everybody's freaking out over a half an hour. I mean, it's not even that much. A half an hour. I can see if they wanted a kid to be at school by 6 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning. You're talking a half an hour early start. And you get off a half an hour early. Yeah, I don't get it. But this is what we look at. This is what we're looking at. It's crazier than heck. I don't believe it. So I'm watching this morning, and the Democratic National Convention is starting, and yesterday there were protesters all running up and down the main streets of Chicago, and it's getting to be a slobber knocker already. They're all there yelling and screaming this morning. I saw about Palestine and Hamas and set Palestine free, and they don't like Harris or Biden because they're backing Israel, and then you got the other people who are Israelis who say they attacked them, and they're mad at Biden and thing because they aren't giving them enough to wipe these guys out, and they're warning them not to wipe these guys. It's a nightmare there. Two factions against each other, hammering each other, and it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse when it comes down to it on the streets of Chicago. So keep your eyes on the TV today. It's starting, and there's expected to be in excess of 100,000 Palestinian protesters arriving in Chicago from all over the country, ready to cause trouble protesting against the Democrats. Like I said, meanwhile, the Democrats are known supporters of the terrorist group Hamas. So the Israelis are mad. I mean, it's a nightmare down there. And we have guest speaker tonight, Joe Biden. Now, he opens up the thing, which is kind of an insult in itself to him, and he's going to hand the torch off. He's handing the torch off when he was really disposed by Pelosi and her gang of cutthroats, Obama and who else, Schumer and all them. Like, he wasn't let go, and he's not happy about it. So he's going to go there and hand the torch to someone who never got a vote, doesn't deserve it, and is considered the worst vice president in the history of vice presidents. And she's going to take the stage on Thursday night to close it all up. It's crazy, crazyville, crazy. But that's what's happening. They are truly a mixed up party at this point. Now, she gave an economic speech on the weekend. Oh, my God. Oh, man. She was playing to the crowd. She's doing flip-flops and everything. And she, last 20 years in office, she's shown she wants to abolish ICE, get rid of gasoline-powered cars, fracking, no fracking, open borders, detention for criminals, you let them go. She don't want detention for criminals. She doesn't want private health insurance. She wants to defund the police and bring in, now she says, price controls. Well, this has everybody going off the rails, even her own party. I mean, this is a total Marxist thing, price controls. And her let the past, don't let it hinder the future, or whatever the heck she says. That events of the past not hinder the future. But that is totally out of Mao and all these other Marxists. This is total Marxist, and they're calling her out for it. Even her own party's concerned about it. Bidenomics, which she was allegedly a part of crafting all along with crooked Joe Biden, is a total failure, with food prices up 21%, rent 22%, car insurance 55%, energy 33%, electricity up 29%, and the inflation rate since they took over is 19.4%. goods and services are way up, and she can't run away from the fact. So even though she's flip flopping, that's what's going to be very interesting what she does when she gets on stage there. And this price control thing, a guy like Trudeau would love to do that. He would love to do it. What we're seeing in the United States, if she ever got in, is going to transfer to Canada. So why is it important for Canadians to watch what's going on in the United States? Because it'll happen here. It will. Everything that happens in the States eventually filters its way to Canada, and we get slapped by it. So watch what's going on down there. And if she does any of this stuff, $25,000 to new home buyers, that's what she wants to give. And you know what? It's going to make it more competitive in the market, and it's actually going to raise prices. That's the way it works. It isn't going to help the housing situation. It's going to make it worse. And our open border programs always make it worse. Always, always, always make it worse. Oh, it's gonna be something else. If she ever got in, it's gonna be a nightmare. I don't think she will. Her honeymoon's just about over. People are really starting to rally against them, and you don't believe the polls, or it's just forget about the polls. If you think about it, incumbents always have a huge advantage, even if Trump is tied with her or within the 2 or 3% variance. That's amazing considering the incumbents have a big advantage over the people trying to get in. And yeah, he's an incumbent in a way, and his record speaks for itself. So yeah, should be no problem him winning, no matter what the polls say and everything else. And this crazy speech he gave on the weekend was a communist speech with price controls, giving away trillions of dollars, which are aimed at housing, predicting the price of housing going up by hundreds of thousands of dollars. Every plan never went through. Their party is even rallying against it. Like I said, Venezuela tried the same economic fixes and has been relegated to the dust heap of history. Most successful economies to end up as a hellhole in a ghetto when they start doing this kind of crap. It's super inflation and everything it breeds. So she's not really well liked. And even the left-wing media starting to rally against her. You've heard some of these left-wing guys on CNN talking against her, and that is unusual because they usually will uphold anything, no matter how ridiculous it is. She won't take interviews. They're mad about that. And she's being called the absolute worst political move Biden ever made. Number one, putting her as vice president. Number two, endorsing her for president. But you know what? I'm thinking about this. Joe Biden here, right? I mean, he's increpid, but he's decrepit. He's increpid too, but he's decrepit. I mean, the guy doesn't know what he's doing half the time, but he might be clear-minded enough to say, "F you. You guys stabbed me in the back. I had 14 million people. I was the candidate, and you forced me to resign by hook or by crook." And I heard Michael Franzese was talking about Pelosi, and she comes from a mob family. Her family was hooked up with the mob when they were on the East Coast, and she basically gave them the mob ultimatum: listen, we can do it the easy way, or we can do it the hard way. It doesn't matter to me. Either way you're going. How do you want to go? The easy way or the hard way? Because it's happening. And that's basically what they told him. And then they're going to really they had stuff on him over 50 years, and they're going to start discrediting him. They probably threatened him with a lot of stuff. Obama's and the Democrats aren't beyond that. That's for sure. We've seen how they've been doing it with Trump. So, yeah, he stepped down. But wouldn't it be funny if at the convention he stood up and he said, "You know what? I changed my mind. I think I'm going to run. I got 14 million votes. I'm going to run for leader of the party, and we'll see what happens." Now, wouldn't that be interesting? That would be unbelievable. That'd be crazy. So, yeah, we'll see. They really haven't seen her. She hasn't been out there. She's crowned queen of the Democratic Party. She hasn't done any news interviews or pressers since she became that. And she claims she's going to do something before the end of the month. Now she's into this Democratic National Convention. She picked the most left-wing nut bar she could for her vice president, which is this Tim Waltz, who is really, oh, he's really wacky. He's really wacky, and he doesn't even know what he's talking about. He's talking about crap, and then he says, we don't insult everybody, and then he goes on to insult Donald Trump for about 20 minutes. Like, he's a nut bar, too. And she picks him for VP. He's just generally a creep. He creeps me out, the guy. Harris herself adheres to what he believes in, tampon in boys' bathrooms and stolen Valerie's guilty of, and they just never vetted this guy right. They didn't have time. She just picked them, and I think Shapiro would have been a bit better, because now they're saying the election goes through Pennsylvania. Whoever wins Pennsylvania will win the election. So Shapiro was from Pennsylvania. It would make sense to have him, but she took this other goofball. And like I say, her approval rating is at like 28%. Very low. And don't mind me, my nose is itchy. I don't know why my nose is so itchy. Oh man, it's like I just sniffed some pepper or something. I'm not sneezing yet though. Oh, there's the polizia going by. And yeah, so we'll see what happens here. I don't think she has any business in politics. Not a good candidate, and this guy's even kookier than she is. Oh, well, there's somebody else going by there. And the DNC starts today, like I said. So we'll see what happens. Biden's going to be the first speaker, so we'll see what happens tonight. You got to watch it. It's a must watch. See what Biden's going to say. He's supposed to be handing over the torch. Maybe he's going to hand over a surprise. How about that? And you know what? If you're going there for the DNC convention, if you're going there for it, they're telling you to book hotel rooms under another name. Don't use your real name, and don't go to certain parts of the city that will be unsafe for you, because of these people protesting, and they're wacky, and there's going to be a lot of fringe groups protesting as well. Maybe BLM, maybe Antifa. Now, they never got permits to march. You have to get permits to march. So they could be any part of the city causing trouble. Nobody knows. So it's going to be insane. But they're saying it's unsafe, so just don't do it. Just don't do it. Yeah, so is that crazy or what? That's nuts, man. It sounds like somebody's jumping around in here. I don't know who it is there. I never saw him come in anyway. So, University of Niagara Falls is always in the news, right? So tomorrow, Mike Lucid's coming in. He's going to be in the studio to tackle the real story behind it. We already had one show with him, and he told us all about it. It's a diploma mill. It's the skirt immigration law. And we heard Lori Lococo say that these students can come in under a student visa and bring their whole family in. There's a big controversy about where they're going to live and how they're going to use the services in the city and that kind of thing. So it's a big deal going on right now. Mike's going to break it down for us. He's going to tell us the truth behind it, because that's what he does, watches it. Very, very interesting show. I tell you to stay tuned. This isn't going away. And man, oh man, if this whole rigmarole doesn't warrant an investigation, I'm just going to close the door here. If it doesn't warrant an investigation, what does? That's my question. So there's some weird stuff going on with this whole thing. He'll tell you about it. Mike knows. Mike knows. Oh, over to Toronto. Now this is a crazy story. Some poor slob decided to work at a shroom store. You know, the mushrooms, right? The magic mushrooms. Shroom store, part-time, to pick up a few extra bucks. And after the second weekend working at the store, the cops raid the joint. He gets popped. And now he's got a criminal record. This poor guy, he's just going there, he's working. You don't know anything about mushrooms, but he didn't know it was, he also didn't know it was illegal. Now, these stores work in kind of a gray area. They sell magic mushrooms to be used in small doses to fix some ailments. But at the end of the day, they're selling illegal drugs. That's what these places are doing, and they're starting to shut them down. There was one on Queen Street in Niagara Falls. I don't know if they're still there. I can't say, but might be, might not be. I don't know. You could probably tell me more about it than I know. But they work in that gray area. But at the end of the day, they are selling illegal drugs. The guy pleaded with the judge that he didn't know what he was selling. That what he was selling was illegal. It was just there part time. But the judge didn't believe his story, and regardless, said ignorance of the law is no excuse. So what's he do? He also said the business, Shrooms, is blatantly illegal drug trafficking operation masquerading as a legit business, and anyone owning, managing, or working there was engaging in criminal activity. So I go, wow, who is this judge? He's totally different than most of the left-wing liberal judges in this province, that's for sure. He actually takes the law seriously and says, hey, you're getting charged. Now, this poor guy, right? He's not going to get a pass, but a lot of the other ones have. But this judge, no, he's not giving out any free passes here. Now, this guy's a musician, and he has to travel to the United States to work at times. Well, he can't get over the border now because he's got a criminal record. So, so he's like of all the places he gets raided on, working on a weekend to make a few extra bucks, and now he's got a criminal record. He can't get over the border now because of his criminal record. The poor guy. And but you know what? He probably knew they were illegal. He didn't care. He just worked there selling them. He said he was impressed how these mushrooms help people who are addicted to other substances cure their addiction and that. So he must have known something about it. What do you think? You give a person mushrooms, you put on your pizza, and they're going to cure a guy who's addicted to heroin or cocaine or whatever? Yeah, this guy, if he really believed that, then he's naive. He had to know these mushrooms have some kind of effect other than pizza, tasting good on pizza, right? So this judge, he gave him the hammer, and the government itself wants to shut all these places down and let pharmaceutical industry deal with it as far as putting it in stores and everything else and being able to buy it. So interesting when it's all said and done. But this poor guy, I felt bad for the guy when I was reading the story, right? He's just working there selling it. He doesn't know. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But either way, he got a rap on the knuckles big time, and now he can't cross the border to do his music. He usually goes to Florida to work, he said. Oh, well, live and learn. Live and learn. That's what I say. Live and learn. So tomorrow, yes, we're gonna have Mike Lucid, and I can't wait for that show. Believe it. I want to know more about this University of Niagara Falls. I always thought it was kind of a scam, and there's something going on with it. And Mike came in and kind of confirmed that, and now he's going to come in and tell us more. So maybe that thing needs to be investigated. This whole what do they call it? A diploma mill. They call them diploma mills, where they just give out these bogus degrees, master's degree of artificial intelligence, and just nonsense degrees. I don't even know how they got certified by the province, but they did. And they don't mean anything. They're worthless, but they get the people into the country. They get their families into the country, and then once they're here, they stay. They look for asylum or whatever to stay because they don't want to go back to their country. And I mean, I don't blame them maybe for not wanting to go back where they came from, whatever, if that's the case. But you come to the country legally, not by these underhanded methods, and it costs a lot of money, like big money, to go to these schools. You can't just give them $1,000 and you're going. I mean, it's big cash. So they're raking in a lot of dough from this. Now, I'm going to end this show pretty soon here. It's 10-1, maybe even more than that. Yeah, it's about 10-1. But I got a question for everybody. And I'll tell you what I'm doing right now. I'm going through the expense reports for all the city councilors. So all the city councilors who ran, I'm just taking a quick look at their expense reports. and where they got their donations from, where their money came from to run. And but I'm mostly concentrating on people who got elected. I want to know where they got their money, who's donating to their campaign. Now, let me ask everybody a question here. If you were looking through donations to a campaign, and out of $15,500, $10,900, or 71% of the donations came from people that don't live in Niagara Falls, who would you think? That's my question for you today. What would you think? Now, when I saw this, my first question was, why would people from out of town donate to somebody's council election campaign? For what? They have nothing to do with where you live. They have nothing to do with anything. So why would you, number one, be soliciting from these people? And number two, I mean, I could see, a friend of yours who lives in Burlington, they like the idea of you running, and they're going to throw you $100, or, one of your relatives think it's cool that you're running, good for you. I support you. Here's $50. Here's $100. Maybe $200 or $300 of donations from people outside the city. I mean, anybody outside the city, why would they donate to you? I mean, you can't do anything for them, right? There's nothing that you do for their city. So it has to be relatives and close friends. Maybe they'll just help you out because they want to help you out because they like you. You're a friend or a relative. But 71% of your donations of the money given to your campaign is from outside the city? I don't get it. Why would this be? Can anybody tell me out there why this would be? I can't think of anything else unless it's some kind of a movement to elect certain people into every city council that agree with their whatever their causes or whatever. Something's going on. But why would that be? How can this be? From all over the place too. Well, I don't get it. I don't get it. It's mind-boggling. When I saw this, it didn't make one bit of sense to me. When I ran for city council, I went to people in the city, and some people just came up and said, "Hey, I want to give to you because I think you have good ideas and all that." Other people, friends, and that just wanted to donate a little bit, but not lots of money. I mean, this was 30 years ago in the early '90s, '94, so nobody was giving you $1,000 or anything, but a few bucks here, a few bucks there. Some businesses wanted to back you up that like what you had to say. The regular money that you raised. I think I raised like $5,000 or something like that. For the campaign, nothing major, but I didn't have any contributions from people outside the city. It doesn't make sense. So I'm asking you out there, what do you think? What do you think of that? What's your opinion on that? Do you have any conspiracy theories that you want to share with me about why they're getting money from out of town? I don't get it. I don't get it. We've heard all the people, the hotel guys and everything else. We hear that all the time about these guys, but I don't quite understand out of town money and why they would be getting that money, especially that large of a number. 71% of their donations to their campaign were from outside of Niagara Falls. Anyway, if you have any opinions on it, text me, message me. My text, text at 905-353-7560. Message me on Facebook. Go to Your City, Your Voice. Go to Paul K. Lemire. And, you can text me there and let me know what you think about that. I'm going to go through more, and I'll report if I see any other things that make me go, what's going on with this? But other than that, I mean, the other one I went through was Wayne Thompson's, and he raised $52,000 for his council seat, double what he gets paid. And His expenditures are not, I don't have them broken down, but I'll tell you more about that next show. How about that? Next show, not tomorrow because Mike Lucid's coming in. Although we may get into that too. You never know with Mike. He gets around to everything. But definitely when Peter Dichter's in here, Chris Regas is in here next time, we'll talk about it. But Thursday for sure, I'll be talking more about it. I'll just give you a taste of it. But if you want to find these numbers, go to NiagaraFalls.ca and just look up City Council election expense report, something like that. And they'll bring a bunch up, and they're all PDF files. You just click them and open them up and see what you can read the list. I was looking through another one too. Dan Moody and all his donations were from people in the city, which makes sense. I mean, that made perfect sense. I haven't looked through his whole report, but I'm going to look through every one of them, and if I find anything, I'll report to you, and then you can give me your input on it. So on that note, I am getting out of here for the day. I encourage all of you to hit the subscribe button. This will be on YouTube later on today. It usually takes a couple hours, 3 hours to upload and get set up, and then I share it on Facebook. But hit the subscribe button, like it, hit the thumbs up, or if you don't like what I have to say, thumbs down. Give me a thumbs down, thumbs up. I don't care. Check it out. Subscribe. Check it out. Give me the thumbs up, thumbs down. Leave some comments. I always read the comments, and I'll comment back. Hey, you can go there and leave comments about this 71% thing I'm talking about. Yeah, whatever you like. And but just look at it, and thank you for watching the video and commenting on it. I mean, I take everything everybody says, and I bring it back to my show and talk about it if we can, and answer any questions. And I have other guys like Chris Regas, Pete Dichter, who also have an opinion, and we'll jump in with it. Sometimes they agree with me, sometimes they don't, but they do have an opinion and they're willing to say it. So you gotta like that. Anyway, I'm out of here. Don't forget tomorrow, Mike Lucid. Tune in. It's going to be a slobber knocker. It's going to be a good one. No punches pulled by Mike. I'll tell you that right now. He's a straight shooter. It'll be a good show. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you from the studios of 4680Q Radio, downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. And don't forget to support our sponsors, please. They do a great job, and Hamilton Glowstone Lighting and Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. And it's great when you support them because they support the show. That's why we're here, being able to do it every day. And also, I thank you for tuning in on 4680Q Radio Live every day at noon, or watching the video after. I thank you for doing that. Have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow with Mike Lucid on Trash Talkin' Tuesday. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.